So when I was younger, like, a couple years ago, I used to use electrolysis to remove rust with everything. Electrolysis only.
Right.
I'm keeping electrolysis, and this is a function of removing rust that works perfectly, right?
Yes.
But I learned about Evapo-Rust.
Yeah, I've never heard about that.
And electrolysis soon became something that I no longer.
Is this the pitch? Is that what you're doing right now? Is this the pitch?
Telling the story? Telling the story, yeah.
Has the show begun? Is this the pitch?
So I had a 55-gallon barrel that I kept in my shop on a rolling platform with, the battery charger hooked up to it, with the electrodes and all that. And all of that crap got to go away with.
It's funny. I tried that electrolysis thing one day. And when I was done trying to do it for like 2 days, I had a giant murky bath of garbage, and there was more rust on my parts than when I started.
You did the reverse electrolysis?
Yeah, something went backward.
I had negative on positive and positive on negative.
Yeah, you made things rusty. Which does that even work? Is that what other YouTube people are doing now? Just to fake the rust?
You got to be careful with electrolysis, because if you reverse it, you can create hydrogen or something. You can create a poison gas.
Well, no, even the proper way, it releases hydrogen gas. So just don't bring a lighter in there.
I heard of a farmer that killed his whole livestock by electrolysing in the wrong way. Did you hear that story?
What?
Yeah, the farmer that killed all of his. Yeah, he did it. He was trying to electrolysis a tractor wheel, and he killed his livestock. So, thank God for Evapo-Rust.
Yeah, I guess don't use high voltage.
So I had envisioned this going a little bit differently when I started telling the story. So ultimately, what we're trying to get everybody to do is understand that Evapo-Rust is a far superior product than trying to set up an electrolysis bath and all of this crazy madness. Can go away with you just getting one bucket of Evapo-Rust. Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, if you've been single for a long time, you can dip your wanker in there and it'll get it ready for action.
It does leave a soft skin finish.
Yeah. Thank God they didn't give us too many requirements.
You can get it on Amazon. It's cheap on Amazon. You can get it in auto parts stores.
If y'all haven't guessed, Evapo-Rust is our new sponsor.
Yay! But not just
Evapo-Rust
for
is
no
the
reason.
Official sponsor of the FItzall podcast.
No, even before we officiated our relationship with them, we've talked about them a million times because it's just a natural, good product for what we all do and what the people who are listening do.
100,000%. The easiest way.
Well, three of us created restoration, okay?
We invented taking things that are old and making them new again.
Before
it was never done.
Public knowledge and the way that we shared things, restoration was not something that happened. Okay.
No.
Well, it was, but less out there, I guess.
I would say, it's funny. I would say, well, there was that hokey ass show, American Restoration, that was on Discovery for the last 10 years, where they would fix up soda machines and stuff. But it's what's honestly really funny, and this can lead into a topic or not, but watching that show, American Restoration, where they would take a soda machine or all this, in my opinion, less useful products. I think restoration in the YouTube space found its place when we're taking machines that we could restore, and then not just a showpiece. It's not just a Coca-Cola sign or something. We're restoring machines that we use to make other things.
Yes.
What's your feeling on that?
I'm aware. I am 100% aware.
Yeah.
That was how I started. That was the whole point of buying old machines that were, $5. And then now I have a table saw after I just spend some of my time messing around. Because when I started the workshop, I didn't have the money to buy a new table saw, and I didn't want like a 1992 Delta POS. So it was just it was a win-win situation for me at the time. And it's still the
What
case,
kind of
although
table saw
now
do you have?
the machines they're getting that I have,
Yeah, what kind of table saw do you have?
I actually bought a new table saw.
Oh, you
That was a horrible example. But every other
What do you have?
every
You have the
other
night-
main tool.
The 2008 POS.
I didn't mean
Yeah.
to do that to you, by the way.
No, that's fine. Like everything else, pretty much. Like my jointer, my bandsaw, all the original woodworking equipment, other than the table saw, were all old. You know, like I have the old Rockwell Delta or whatever jointer, and it's very sensual, and I enjoy that very much. Although I should probably get rid of it.
Let me tell you the very best part about Evapo-Rust. Okay,
Yes. Tell me, please.
is
I don't
that it
know
actually
anything about it.
works. Freaking
No,
works.
that is true.
It's amazing. It works. And a lot of stuff out there that you buy doesn't necessarily work, you know, like it's supposed to.
You know, it's funny. When I was a kid, I'd use that navel jelly stuff. Remember, my dad would get it, and he would always warn everybody, it's going to burn your skin. It's going to burn your skin. So we'd have to put on like a Tyvek suit and old clothes to use it.
Yeah.
And you put it on, and it basically got you like 10% there. I think navel jelly is a trick because you put it on, and you have to scrub it off. And in the process of scrubbing it off, you get rid of the rust.
Navel jelly is an acid. So it's just like any other of the acid treatments, where it just starts dissolving everything, including the base
The metal.
steel. So the scrubbing just is removing what has been, including like any of the nice steel.
What Eric just said.
It's phosphoric
those who-
acid.
Eric
but
said his
Eric,
robot
for-
voice.
I just want to give a interpretation of what you just said, which was
Oh, really?
Evapo-Rust.
That's great.
Yeah, your internet connection sucks.
That's because the walls in his shop are 18 inches thick.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
filled with dead beavers.
The frozen tundra.
That's
So
like
we have a promotional code because now your job, listeners, is to go buy some Evapo-Rust. Okay.
Yes,
Yep.
and this
the
is
internet.
actually legit. I am very impressed by the percent off that that Evapo-Rust.
The code
like
The code will be 25. FItzall, it'll only be for Amazon US, and it is only for gallon Evapo-Rust and aerosol rust block. It'll be 25% off those products. We're having our relationship is getting into baby steps right now. So on fast notice, this is what they came up with. The code will be, I'm going to read it again, 25. FItzall 25, FITZALL, and it will be only Amazon US. And is only for gallon Evapo-Rust and aerosol rust block, 25% off of those products. So
Okay,
I
we're
presume
gonna
you go to the Amazon and then you type in that.
you're gonna like.
Oh,
see.
we're
We're
actually
gonna type it in. We're gonna try to buy some right now,
Okay.
live.
to make
It's
sure-
already
buy
on sale. It's
right
gonna
now.
be like It's gonna be like $2.
No, it's just on Amazon, and then you type in, you find that, and then when you check out, I think you
It's
can type in
30
a promotional
Is
code.
30
right?
is 32 ounces? How big is 32 ounces? Is that a gallon?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know how size. I don't know.
Let's see if this works.
Is that the
Don't
right
show my
size?
password because these clowns will go and order a bunch of stuff.
How many ounces are in a gallon?
64.
128.
Oh, okay. That narrowed that down for me.
Hey Siri, how many ounces are in a gallon?
Like, I'm Canadian. I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Is 128 fluid ounces.
What's up, bitches?
So then you're buying the wrong one.
What's up, bitches? Did I say 128 ounces?
You did. You won.
That makes me feel good.
Yes,
Ah,
but
makes me feel good.
you're still trying to purchase the wrong one.
I'm not.
Hey, she's just signing in for now.
She is.
Anyways, yeah. So that's actually exciting. Sorry to the Canadians. What can I do?
You can get them a Prince Albert code.
Princess Auto.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't even know if they do codes. It's on sale this week, anyways. The exact same size. It's actually
So,
like
Let's talk for just
the
a second,
promotional code
guys.
is actually not valid, but it's for
because
it's
it's the
for,
wrong size.
gallon Yeah, you got to go to the gallon.
Billionth time. What could have happened here, guys?
That was my fault because I told her to pick that one, which was actually 32 ounces. We need the gallon size, which is 128 ounces.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jimmy, while she's doing that, we'll come back to that.
Right.
I have a serious question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. At WorkbenchCon, we had a really great time at WorkbenchCon.
Oh, we were at WorkbenchCon
Okay.
just a couple days ago.
The opening of WorkbenchCon, keynote speaker, was the master of ceremonies, Jimmy DiResta. Okay? Everybody knows
me.
that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Master of Echo. The master of Echo. That was me.
Yeah.
Regardless, you did an excellent job.
Oh,
Everybody
thank you.
fired up after your speech. And in this huge auditorium, when you were done, you came and you sat down next to me and you looked at me and you said, I normally am not nervous, but because you're here, I was nervous. And I want to know, what do you mean by that? I want to know what you mean.
Because you are, everybody in the maker community is fairly honest, but you are like the id of like honesty. Like it just like something happens and it just shoots off your mouth. It comes right out of your mouth. So I was honestly very, like everybody would bullshit me and say, wow, you did a good job. And they'd be like, oh, I can't believe he said this, or I can't believe he did that. But you would say, you sucked. You shouldn't have said this. You shouldn't have said that. I mean, I assumed you would say that. And when I sat down next to you and you gave me an honest review that I believed that you said, you did a good job. I mean, the difficulty was the mic kept cutting out. My slideshow kept jumping ahead and going back and forth. And the sound was just atrocious. It was like the worst audio I've ever had to contend with doing any kind of conversation. And
well, to give everybody a little bit of perspective, the audio was bad because it was a huge concrete, you know,
room
building, right? With the tilt wall building. And the ceiling was like 40, 50 feet in the air. And there was absolutely zero acoustic, help there. So you can't fault yourself for that. That's nothing to do with you. You being spaz monkey with the remote or it being whatever, that's nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
The speech was great. What you told people was great. And the reason why I can tell you it was great is because I'm going to ask Eric right now to regurgitate some of it and tell us exactly what Jimmy said.
It was some of the best presentation skills I've ever seen. It touched me.
Were you in the room? You weren't in the room.
It touched me in ways I haven't been touched since my uncle came over when I was 6.
Oh, God bless Eric.
I don't think, Eric, you weren't there, were you?
No, I was
he was still asleep. He was
asleep.
I had a feeling. Yeah, no, it was like a cone. This is what, like, I tend to try and, like, there's a lot of inside jokes and a lot of subtleties. And when you have audio problems, all those subtleties are out the window. You have to talk like, you have to talk like you don't speak English and the audience doesn't speak English. You got to be big, grandiose. And the subtleties and the senses of humor go out the window. Thank God for that kid, Bruce. I had a little back and forth with this kid in the audience, and he ran up on stage and stayed with me. So he was like my comic relief. He was my little sidekick for the second half of the speech. He got a lot of laughs visually. I don't think audibly my subtleties were really being picked up as much as the little audible, the visible jokes I was having with that kid. So
no, I thought the kid was a nice touch, but I do think that I don't think the audio was as bad as you think it was. We could hear you. We could hear and understand you.
Well,
and you did a great job, but I was just curious what it was that made you think that I would be so hypercritical of you.
Because like I just, you're like one of the cool guys, even though I'm in the cool crew with you, and you're the coolest guy in the crew. And I want you to like me. That's basically it. And I don't want to go up there and like blow my speech, and then I sit down next to you and you go, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
I just want to
solid 3. Solid 3 out of 10.
Well, wait a minute.
And cry.
The roles are reversed here because actually Jimmy's the cool guy. I was just a spectator. But a great event, really cool event.
That's great. Yeah, and I'm just a piece of garbage. Thanks.
You were asleep. You don't get a say-so or a vote. You get nothing. When you sleep in because you don't have kids with you, then you don't get anything.
Let me just say that no speech on earth would have been as good as me sleeping 1 extra hour in the last.
I don't know. I sat through the Paul Jackson and Zach's speech.
The Paul Jackson.
Paul
Yeah.
Jackman and Zach, ZH
No,
Fabrication.
Paul Jackson. I call him Paul Jackson
Oh, okay.
because he's like Michael Jackson. He's that cool.
Andrew, let me ask you.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
You are you came to WorkbenchCon just to kind of get a vibe and see and hang out with us, obviously, because it's not often we're all in proximity. And me and Aunt Eric kept checking in with each other like he's still here. He didn't leave yet. I can't believe it. He's still here. I can't fucking believe it. He didn't leave yet. Because we figured you would just be like, I'm going to get a soda, and you would just go get on a plane and leave.
Yeah, I actually did that Saturday. I left before it was over.
I think Andrew finally found like a group of people that he doesn't hate.
Well, let's not go that far. Like, I'll still be very judgmental. Okay.
Okay. Actually, I hated everyone.
No, you know what is interesting to me is it's a really good group of people. You know,
It is.
And I like that this group of people are all either entrepreneurs or trying to be entrepreneurs. And I think that's why I stayed more than anything, because there was a lot of, silliness. Like, it was an unorganized event as to a point. Okay. I would be happy to be honest about that. Like, but everything, you can always improve on everything. But what was interesting to me was to see these people, these individuals that have passion, that have drive, that have a desire to learn from others, and they've put forth the effort to be there to do that. To me, it's pretty an attractive deal. So I was trying to just pick up on that more than anything.
That's great.
And that's why I stayed, because otherwise I would have been home probably Friday.
Well, and then also, you guys want to talk about the pick that we went on? That Andrew's got people everywhere, so you were able to figure out like probably one of the coolest picks we've been on.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, yeah. So the first morning, what was that? Thursday morning.
Yes.
Me, the two of you wankers, April Wilkerson, Annabelle Trades,
Jocko,
and Jocko, whatever. Who, by the way, I love Jocko, whatever.
Jocko's funny dude.
Yeah.
And Patrick.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we went to a pick that I had lined up in Atlanta. Actually, another gentleman lined it up for me named Ed.
Classic.
And there was two buildings just chock full of sundries and machines and
it's
tooling.
An old machinist.
Yeah, the old machinist that retired, and all of his stuff is still there practically.
I don't understand how they retired like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
So
everything's still
had
there.
Is that what he said? 10 years? That's how long that place has been dormant? 10 years?
Yeah.
Well, no, they had that employee there that works there like 3 or 4 days a week until lunchtime.
Yeah, Art.
Maintaining everything.
Yeah.
No, Art's the son.
Art's
But
the son.
don't give away too many names, Jimmy. I'll punch you in the face. Okay. People will start Googling Art, Atlanta, machine shop, and they'll find it and everything will be gone. I'll be pissed off for else now. Anyway,
I
so yeah. So
tagged all my pictures. I'll do it.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. You just
I did.
There's an app where you can harvest the geotag information.
I didn't.
I use that to track.
But yeah, so that guy said that they had stopped doing any kind of work there 10 years ago.
Well, I guess that's true because they had those computers that had like green letters burnt into.
Oh my God, those weren't 2010 computers. Those were 1994 IBM like PC ones.
Yeah, their office looked like a 1970s like setup prop. Like it was set up like as if it was like the 1970s, like looked like blood simple
5-inch floppies.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing.
So did you guys?
But that place was amazing, absolutely amazing. There were There were just maybe 10 Bridgeports in fantastic condition.
They had 2 or 3 Bridgeport Series 2s.
Oh, the Series 2s,
which is a great one. It's heavier, bigger.
Some of the best series of all time. Better than the World Series.
They had lathes out the wazoo. They had a 150-ton Dake press. They had
a Blanchard.
A 60-inch Blanchard grinder. They had a 6-inch Blanchard grinder. They had vertical shapers, horizontal shapers. They had Lickalotopus and
Like,
which is
did they
actually
have diagonal shapers?
no. They had a grinder, an ID grinder, OD grinder. They had welding stations, and I mean, it went on and on and on and on.
What do you call those machines that are? It's basically a lathe that's sitting on its end. It's sitting on its tailstock. Is that a vertical mill? Is that what that's called?
Vertical lathe?
A vertical lathe? It's a lathe sitting on its end.
So
like for really, really big forgings.
Oh,
like big round castings. They had like 3 of those. So it's like a rotational table or a rotating table that
Yeah.
turns. So you bolt something to it, and then the cutting head approaches it from the side, not from the front. So it looks like a Blanchard grinder basically, but it's a lathe.
CC, type in vertical lathe and see what pulls up. See if that's what
Yes.
Jimmy's talking about.
That's what it is.
There's a guy on Instagram that has a killer page.
Oh yeah, like
It's a
big
lot of-
machine Dave.
Something
That's
he's got his main
exactly who I'm thinking.
work-
He's always flip flopping around those giant chunks of steel.
Yeah,
putting
it's
them on
actually his name is actually Heavy Iron Chris.
Yep, that's
His
it.
name's actually, if you were a chick, I would make out with you.
Yeah, and he's right in Ontario, I think.
Vertical lathe.
Yeah, there is a nice vertical lathe sitting, and I know exactly where it is.
Most of them are sitting.
In the open.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for me to touch. It'd
How
be a
many
crazy
buckets
just as
did
like a
y'all-
welding table.
Yeah. How many buckets of water did y'all count in that building? Water
Oh,
leaking from the rain.
10. It's got to be like 10 at least.
I bumped into 2 of them and my shins were wet the whole time we were there because the water splashed over on me.
You just have moist knees.
You know, I found 3 Pexto maple tables in there with the Pexto steak anvil plates in them.
Yep.
2 of them they had turned upside down because they were just
Yeah.
using them as workbenches.
Yep.
I mean, and he was like, I didn't even know we had those. He's like, I thought we had 1, but I didn't know we had 3.
Oh man, those and the massive squares and the like 48-inch Camelback straight edge. Like, come on.
They had that.
There was a 48-inch micrometer.
They had 2 48-inch Starrett straight edges in the box, in the wooden box.
Like I've never seen a micrometer the size of like a human.
They had a 20-foot monarch lathe with, what is it, like a 6-foot throw over the ways.
You could put a guy.
Yeah, that thing was
a
monster.
guy.
What's
it.
interesting is all of that. Okay, let's fast forward because I picked out some machines, Ann picked out some machines, April picked out some stuff. You guys,
I bought a bunch of hand stuff. I bought a bunch of dial calipers.
You bought stuff that you could move.
I
picked out some stuff.
I bought nothing because I gave Jimmy all my money.
Jocko went through every single toolbox like it was his last mission to find, and he did a great job.
Yeah, there were some cool like little tiny things.
So I made a list of items that we all wanted, the bigger items, right? And I made an offer based off of the discussion we had when we were there and da. And dude, the email I got back from him, and my offer was not much lower than what he said he wanted, right? My email back from him was like, man, this is less than 50% of what the value is. He's like, this is less than 50% of what we discussed when you were here. And so I looked at my list again that I'd written down when I was there. And literally the list when I was there added up to like $30,300 and something. And I offered him $4,000. So we're not that far apart.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Nothing.
I was at like 25,000. It was like 25, so $5,000 apart. And he was just hell bent that was like the worst offer ever.
Well, what's unfortunate is if he's going to be sitting on that stuff like a mother hen, that stuff's just going to get pushed in a dumpster in about 3 years because
So
it'll go to an auction where the auction gets 30%.
And it'll go for pennies on the dollar that it's valued at right this minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the grand poopah of the deal. He says he wants $2.5 million for the property, the buildings, and all the contents. So really what he's doing is saying, I want $2.5 million for the property, and I don't really care about the machines, right?
Right.
The machines are just, part of it. And the father's still alive at this point. So the machines, they probably have a ton of money. They've made their money, so they don't care one way or the other. And so the machines are just something fun for the father to continue to get to, participate in.
Yeah.
And when he passes, unfortunately, like you said, Jimmy, that's it, dude. See ya. It's
Yeah.
gone.
Yep. That's sad because a couple of years ago, me and David Welder, my old assistant and current still close friend, we went out and we researched what we were jokingly calling the ghost machine shop. A friend my buddy Billy Davis, who's now a friend, because of this machine shop, him and his family had a demolition company. They were hired to demolish this building. And the building was a machine shop. Apparently the machine operator passed away out on Long Island, and his family just literally locked the door and never opened the shop again. And now it's almost 25 years later. We go in there to look at it. Billy's like hired to rip the place down, and he's like, "Oh, let me call this guy in line, Jimmy DeResta." Me and Dave go out, look at the shop. The place is filled with equipment, things I had never even seen before, like these things with like mills with 4 heads in a row, like unusual surface grinders and turret lathes. The guy actually made airframe stuff, and it looked like he just it's like if tomorrow your shop was just put on hold for 25 years. Like there was still like lunch bags sitting around. It was pretty crazy. Anyway, the guy who owned that building was so hell bent on suddenly he thought it was worth a lot of money because Billy was showing interest, and everything was covered with rust because the ceiling had collapsed. So everything was rusty. There were a couple things that were out of the danger zone, which were reasonably in good shape. Fast forward, couldn't make a deal. The guys all thought they were sitting on money, whoever bought the property. And Billy said one day he saw all the machines shoved to the corner of the cement slab. The building was gone. All the machines were shoved to the corner. He drove because he didn't get the gig. And then a couple months later, all the machines were gone. He believes they all just got scrapped.
Oh,
because
my God.
Of course they did.
people
Of course
they
they
were
did.
sitting on them. Think they had 4 Bridgeports, which they had a Bridgeport with like a 30-inch tabletop, which would have been a nice little mill to have.
Right.
That was the one thing I was banking on getting, but again, the whole deal fell apart because they just thought they were sitting on so much money that nothing happened. And
Okay, did y'all that I would imagine they probably all went
yeah,
straight to the scrapper. Do you remember that the Bridgeport dividing head in the wooden box factory,
Brand
brand
new
new,
one.
old stock?
Yes.
Yep.
He wants so much money for that, it's crazy, dude.
What did he ask for?
That's
that?
what I thought.
I think he wants $3,000 or something silly.
Oh my God.
Like
You
I'll
can
just
get
buy
that-
I wanted
an
to
entire.
actually listen.
That's more than my entire Bridgeport cost.
Okay,
Yeah.
listen. I almost did this. I almost knocked it off of the table just so it would break.
Be like, I'll pick it up, $5.
Yeah, like, dude, it broke. I'm really sorry. I knocked it off. Da, da, da. I
can
know
dig
it was
that.
new in the box, but I'm just tired of you being, price hungry. So, no, I didn't really do that. But it was neat to see a brand new one in the box. I mean, you don't.
Oh
get to
no,
see that every-
the Blanchard grinder fell over.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God.
terrible
What do we
news.
do? I would love that. I would highly enjoy.
So Andrew, what's going to happen now? Let's say fast forward 10 months from now when they get an offer on the building from, GlaxoSmithKline, and they don't care about anything. All they want is the plot. They want everything gone, and they make a deal with him. He's going to have to just shuffle that.
They'll auction it
Yeah,
all.
they'll probably have an auction for sure, and it'll just go for what it goes for. It's they're what they're banking on there is the real estate.
Let me. So you know what's funny about auctions is auctions. There's like a way, instead of throwing it away, you're letting somebody else take it away from you, and you get a little bit of money instead
Yeah.
of you
Yeah,
having to pay
totally.
to take. Auctions aren't really a money making proposition for the people that are getting rid of the stuff. It's just a way to
Yeah,
get
but
rid of stuff. get
Auctioneers
people
are
to-
making a killing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll
here-
give you.
here's- Go ahead.
I got an interesting proposition for you guys. I'm curious, but you go first.
So what I was gonna say was I forgot what I was gonna say, and
There's a
what's that happens when you're a parent sometimes.
You're a parent.
No, what I was gonna say is a lot of those machines in there are not current. They're not current machines for
There-
a production type facility. They're all manual machines. They're
yeah,
all
there's not one CNC anything in there.
yeah. So the people that are the buying pool for those machines are your smaller shops, your hobbyists, your weekend warriors. So, and anybody that fits that category is not going to want a Monarch lathe with a 6-foot freaking chuck on it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's
Like,
th
so
that's a
that
much
thing's going to
larger.
the scrapyard. Unfortunately, that'll go to the scrapyard. But that is actually
Selling that
a
would
really
be
cool
tough.
machine.
I know.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a tough
they could
sell.
give it to you. They could give you that machine. It's still going to cost you 25 grand to get it to your place. I don't care where you take it.
Yeah.
If you take it 5 feet away, it's 25,000. Because
Yeah.
they want a rigging crew in there. They want, you got to have 18-wheeler to move it. They have nothing to pick it up with, so on and so forth. So
And you got to move 10 machines to get it.
absolutely. So you got a select buyer's pool of people that are going to buy from there. But there was a Monarch 10 EE lathe in there.
Yeah,
Great.
that was dismantled a little bit.
But it was dismantled.
I
But
would
he still
love to
wanted
touch
$2,500 for it.
It was a
That's
basket
it?
case.
Only $2,500.
Yeah, it's worth $800.
A Monarch 10 EE.
I
Well,
picked up
not all
that.
put
I
together.
picked up that Jacobs 18 chuck. Jacobs 18, the size.
A
For
huge
the
one.
number. Yeah, it was a big one. It wasn't as big as the 20, but obviously it was big. I was going to put it on my new Camelback drill, and I held it up, and he said $200, and that's how much it would be on McMaster car.
Yeah. So here's another little addition. By the way, that CC just pulled up Monarch 10 EE. That blue Monarch 10 EE lathe is so orgasmic. I can't even begin. That's the one when I called Monarch and talked to the CEO of the company. That's $78,000, and it's a 1946 model. 78 grand, and if you want a new one, it's 128,000, and both of them are a 3-year waiting list. Thank you, U.S. Navy.
Excuse me. It is the greatest lathe that was ever made.
Lathe. It holds a 50 millionth. Come on, dude. If you get a lathe and you don't have one of those, then you've bought the wrong machine.
Yeah, if it's not 50 millionths of accuracy, you're a piece of human garbage.
Yeah. I think we need to get that on a shirt, like you're a piece of human garbage, because I'd love to hear you say that, Eric.
Oh, really? Okay. I will try and do that for you.
Yeah,
just for you.
Jimmy, I do want to apologize to you about something.
What?
I personally thought it was funny, and I got a lot of messages in your defense, and then I got a lot more messages that people thought was absolutely hysterical when I taped my fingers up and mocked you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
People,
I like that. You must have been putting a.
Me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can't like the amount of people that like sent me like, put this on your hands, put this on your hand, put that on the other. I'm like, this is all like a joke. Okay, like my hands are fine.
Look, by the way.
No, the reason I brought it up is because you're gnawing
your
hands like a beaver, dude.
What am I doing?
You're chewing on your hands like a beaver.
Oh yeah, no, because I've been working all morning, but putting the header in the barn, so my fingernails are a little chipped up. So I'm just doing some maintenance on my fingernails.
So I apologize. Nice. It's rude for me to do that. But
no, I thought it was super funny. I the last story I did about my finger tape, I thought I was like, maybe I'm just overstepping it here with my fingers, because people always see tape on my fingers and they're like, why don't you wear gloves instead of taping your fingers? They think I'm trying to do a Michael Jackson impersonation. They don't realize I'm actually holding cuts shut. I have cuts, and like when you if you open and close your fingers, your skin stretches, and if you have like a little tiny paper cut or a crack, opening and closing your hand creates that to never ever heal. So by putting tape on it and a little bit of bacitracin, some ointment, and then I tape it tightly so it holds it shut. Anyway, I'm done talking about this.
And this is
Nurse Jimmy over there.
This is healthcare by Jimmy DeResta.
Okay, Jimmy, what happened to Smiley's place?
Oh yeah, what a sad story. I haven't driven by there yet, but apparently there was a brush fire that started. Probably, maybe, I mean, it could have been from a burn barrel.
No, it's the donkey.
The donkey could have set the fire. Smiley's is that place we went to in July. It's this great junkyard, and everything burned where we made our deal with the old Starrett toolbox. Where we made our deal, that place is completely burned down.
Really?
Wow.
And the house that's burned down on the other side, the barn that had all like the Holland, skid steers in it,
right?
Yep.
And all that stuff that was immediately around there, which was a lot of tractors and a lot of skid steers. He kept all skid steers close to the house because that's what he bought and sold mostly.
Right.
Yeah, it's so sad. They had a little brush fire, and the brush fire, I think they had a burn barrel, and the burn barrel caused a brush fire, and they couldn't get the brush fire out, and it went to the building and then the house. So
Wow.
And of
That's
course
sad.
they have all the appropriate insurance.
Yeah, I'm sure. And
They got it the day before.
Yeah.
No, I don't know much about it, but I do know that nobody died. Thankfully, everybody's safe. But they said that like little explosions were going off for a few hours because of all the mini
CC
engines that.
pulled it
What?
up and says we are closed due to illness. If possible, we'll be open sooner.
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
long
that was
time.
November 18th, 2019. Okay.
So why were there mini explosions, sir?
Because like the gasoline engines that were going off that were all like engulfed in the fire.
Oh my god,
exactly
yeah.
where we were. That's the building he's talking
The
about.
gas
Oh,
tanks were exploding and the old tractors and stuff.
Yeah,
actually, if y'all will remember all of this spot right here, for the
that's where
people,
the
Yeah.
good stuff was.
Yeah.
yeah. So if all that burned, that means that you can go in there and actually see what all's there, Jimmy.
Finally, Jim. There you go.
Now, once the
Yeah.
weather breaks, I'll go up there and see. I wonder if now he's going to try and sell the land or whatever. It's 40 acres full of tractors and all kinds of
Yeah.
junk. I don't know.
Never be able to sell any of that, dude. Come
He's
on.
just
The thing-
writing like brand new still runs.
But how can he sell that at all? Because
You can't.
the Environmental Protection Agency is going to come in and go, you've just soaked the entire earth with oil for the last 50 years.
Are there more
Yeah.
pictures of the place?
I'm surprised. Well,
No.
maybe it's gone now that it's burned away. I don't know. It's
I
just
think Just
can
throughout
you
the house.
even
Listen, a lot of
buy
that.
an old tractor that used to be on fire? Like all the tempering is gone and everything's
Yeah.
different. All the stress and
No,
the
what I
I-
mean is like whatever was near the house burned. There's still obviously lots of goodies on the property, and I'm sure he'd be willing to make a faster deal if we decide to go there next summer and look around.
yeah.
Who knows? It's
I can't
it's
imagine
unfortunate-
that fire hurt a lot of that stuff.
I don't
Wow.
know.
I'm thinking it probably helped it more than it hurt it. Not. I'm talking about like the areas where the equipment are and stuff.
His
It's like a
son,
controlled burn, you know.
his son, who I don't know, I only know George is the old man we all talk to, and he's the kind of guy you meet 50 times, and every time you meet him, it's like the very first time. He's like, oh hey, he doesn't remember meeting you. So I met him like 7 or 8 times, and he doesn't never. Every time he was like, I just meet him for the first time. His hard drive gets erased in between.
Yeah.
And anyway, his son, who's probably closer to my age, I never met him. About 5 years ago, they were unloading a tractor. One thing led to another. He turned his back. The tractor rolled over him.
Oh
literally
no.
crushed all the bones on like one side of his body from his
Dang.
foot to his shoulder. The giant
Wow.
wheel, apparently, this is what I was told. I don't have any firsthand knowledge of it. And he was injured. I remember there was a bucket at the milk run. It said, for I think it was George Jr. Throw some money in the bucket. And he's recovered now, but he's no longer doing any of the things his father used to do.
Jeez.
So
Yeah,
tragedy
That's weird.
follows him.
That's like how I almost died unloading my air compressor.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. By the way,
You
I was
really
happy to
want
see
to
that
talk?
you bought a decent air compressor. I'm very proud of you, Eric.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Thank
want
you.
to tell you, I'm so sick and tired of you buying crap that is made up for a lot of that. Okay. He bought a Speed
What?
Air, which is Speed Air compressor is a good one. Hello.
It's probably fine. I don't know. They're all Chinese.
It's not as good as mine industrial gold that's made in the USA, every part of it, but
Yes, I would have loved to purchase that instead, but I just need something way better for a sandblaster.
oh,
There's
your
not enough
blast
CFS.
cabinet? Wait, your blast cabinet?
Yes, my blast
Okay.
cabinet.
Let's back up. Now I'm back where I started.
You hate me.
Princess
No,
Auto.
no. Yeah, it's fine. It's a good air compressor for what you're going to do, but you need a slave tank also. You need a secondary tank.
You're a slave. Thing.
No, you're not going to. It's going to be kicking off and on and off the whole time. Trust me. I
No,
have one.
no, it'll be fine.
Oh yeah. No. No.
I
no,
don't.
no.
I
Kind
don't
of-
mind it turning
What blast
on
gun
and
do you
off.
have?
What blast gun?
Yeah.
Like
A
Princess
E-blast?
Auto.
the one that came with it?
Princess
Where's the
Auto.
blast cabinet from? Is it a D-blast gun?
No, I don't. I have no idea if it's a specific thing. The cabinet's from Princess Auto. Yeah.
Look at CC pulled up slave tank for air compressor, and it's a dude with
With a slave tank top.
shirt on. That's hilarious.
Nice. No, I don't mind if it turns off and on all the time. I just need it to not be on all the freaking time. I will use the air compressor and it won't shut off straight for like an hour and 45 minutes. and it gets so hot that it's going to explode and kill me. So I
So wait a
didn't
minute,
have
when you
enough
do that,
CFM.
does it have just straight water coming out of it?
Oh my god! When I open the bottom of this, it's like a nice Kool-Aid.
Oh,
It's
you
like when
don't.
they dunk Gatorade on the coach after the game.
In
Okay,
rust
so you
color.
don't have a water separator, and you don't have a drain, an automatic drain dump for the water in the bottom of your air compressor?
No. Do you think I'm at these levels of air compressing?
Clearly
Not yet.
not.
When I
So-
get, that'll be the final air compressor upgrade in another 20 years.
Okay,
When I
so
get
you're
the
just gonna
rotary
run that one
screw.
full speed, full out
Yeah,
until it dies.
never change the oil. One oil, and you're good 20 years. That's apparently how
Wow.
those work, right? Yeah. Yeah,
I
it'll
think
be
that's how
fine. It'll
actually most
be
people run, to be honest with you.
yeah, honestly. No, I've maintained the one that I purchased, but once again, it is one that I found for very cheap online, and it's used and from the 80s, and it didn't work, and I made it work, and it lasted for I don't know, 6 or 7 years, and now it's pretty much done. So
It's just not making air anymore.
the cylinders are a little poopy. What essentially I've been doing is just sucking up abrasive dust into the entire air compressor.
That's probably
so
good
that
for the
kinda-
innards.
That kind of killed it a little faster than
How are
it
you
should
getting
be.
air into your air compressor through that? Is it a siphon hose?
Yeah, I connect the hose right to the dust port of the air collector of the of the
Oh, that's
sand-
Sandblast.
yeah, and then it's like just a circular path of excitement,
oh god.
if that makes sense.
God.
Yeah, it'll be fine. This one's 2-stage, and it can do 18 CFM instead of 9. And
Can you explain? Can you explain a 2-stage what that means?
instead of one stage, there's another
two.
one.
Oh.
Yeah. No. So a single stage would be the cylinders compress the air, and then that's it. And in a 2-stage, the cylinders, I believe, are different sizes. So the first larger cylinder compresses the air, and the other cylinder compresses it even further to a higher PSI, up to 175 PSI.
Or you could just read this. Go ahead.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah, read that out
Yeah,
loud.
it just gets compressed twice.
That's
the
not what it
second
says.
Stage. That's the second stage. That's what it
The
is.
main difference between a single and a 2-stage compressor is the number of times the air gets compressed between the inlet valve and the tools nozzle. In a single stage compressor, the air gets compressed one time. In a 2-stage, the air gets compressed twice for double the pressure.
Yeah, thanks.
Outstanding.
Amazing.
Sounds like what you said.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's nice. Anything above that would be like a rotary screw compressor, and that would be exquisite. But those are like $10,000.
I would like a rotary screw compressor.
I bet
They're-
you would. Yes. If you
they're
want
You
like
have one already?
300
No,
psi or
But I
whatever.
have a air compressor that's pretty fancy. I'm not gonna lie.
I am hoping that I can do a little bit of the running of these crazy pneumatic tools that I have that require 90 CFM, even though I only have 18. I'm hoping that I can at least get them to turn over so I can show people. Otherwise, for the videos, I'm just gonna have to rent a diesel compressor.
I
And
did that the other day. I rented one.
yeah, it's not that much. It's like
What?
$100 a day.
Like the
So
trailer one that runs on
The
diesel?
trailer, because like how the
Yeah.
hell I don't have 90 CFM. Like that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
90 CFM would be hard to keep up with.
That's like you could put it in your butt and blow your entire self up.
Just with one trigger pull.
Yeah. So like that's a lot. But there's the nice
Like how they do that orange peel, how they blow the orange peel off the orange.
yeah, basically like that.
You've seen
Yeah,
that
that would
video.
happen.
right?
Yeah, what happened to your clothes and then your skin?
No, you would just fluff your skin out. Actually, I've seen trappers do that with animals before. They just stick it in between the hide and the meat and air it up, and it separates it so they don't have to skin it and flesh it as much.
Gross, but I guess
Interesting.
that makes sense. Yes.
Interesting.
So that was the anyways, let me tell you the story of me almost dying.
Yeah.
So despite my
I want one of those.
despite my attempts I still don't have a proper way of getting anything off of the pickup truck that weighs more than 200 pounds. I literally have no way. So
You
I
need a
just drove
chain
it.
hoist, like I have.
I
I have
have
a chain hoist
nowhere.
over all my doorways.
I don't have like a hanging over doorway thing. Like it would have to be right where the garage door is, which it doesn't work. I know. I've thought about maybe like a crane thing, but that wouldn't be tall enough to pick this thing up, anyways. So it's a 500-pound compressor where 499 of the pounds are contained in the upper 1/4.
And you can't ship those compressors laying down. You have to have them
No.
staying upright.
They're standing up. So it's standing up, driving down the highway. That's fine. I got home and I just thought I could tilt it over slightly and slide it out the back of the hitch. And that's kind of what I did with
Alone.
this current compressor, but it was half the weight. And I thought I could do it alone. So
Oh, God.
I'm maneuvering it, like I'm balancing it diagonally on like 2 feet. So it's not tipping either way. And then I'm trying to figure out if I should just let
Give
it
up?
go or if I have enough strength to slow down 500 pounds of air compressor so that
Is it
hit
bolted to a
tailgate.
pallet? Is it bolted to a pallet?
I unbolted it.
Yeah,
Oh,
like-
Jesus.
It was. So I put the hitch back up and I thought I was just going to lower it nicely down on the hitch with the heavy end right on the tailgate, sorry. And then when I went to do that, about like a third of the way down, I don't know why I thought I could hold 500 pounds. Anyways, it totally and completely just dropped, nailed the hitch, did a triple sow cow down into
Sow cow.
right onto the gravel and just smashed the shit out of it. Just
So
destroyed.
what was your very initial response? Like, what did you do? How'd you react?
I was like, it was kind of hilarious. It was in the sense that I hope someone was watching.
I mean, literally, you can't really hurt the machine.
No, but I destroyed the
cage.
safety cage,
It's safety
which
cage.
ended up being a nice, amazing crumple zone. Like it landed perfectly in the
God.
best possible location. So nothing broke and everything still moves fine. So it's just in the back on the gravel, and then I'm like rolling it and dragging it and scraping the living hell out of the brand new painted
This
air
is how
compressor.
serial
And then-
killers feel when they kill people.
It literally was like dragging a body into my workshop.
Totally.
And then I couldn't stand it up. I had no way to standing it up. I had to when my friend was over, we both did it, and it was still not okay.
Do you have a
so
hernia from all this?
It
madness?
is standing now. You can see it like there.
I can see the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
You took the
so
cage. You took the smashed cage off all
The
the way.
cage is off. I don't know what I'll do with that. I
Just
might
don't
bend
worry
it in
about it.
place. Anyways, I will now wire up
I'm
the
back,
net
by the
switch.
way. I am back.
Oh,
What do
you
you, Jimmy? Why all of a sudden did you just scream, "I'm back"? Like we didn't know you were gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, because my internet shut off again. I don't know what's going on in this house. I just jumped into the telephone, so now I'm on my telephone internet.
Interesting.
Oh,
Interesting. Anyways, I'll wire it up now with the magnetic switch and the whatever else, and we'll see how it works after taking a nice little tumble.
it should be a good compressor. You got the. Is it 3-phase or single phase?
This one is single phase,
80
220,
gallon.
80 gallon, yes. I got
Are
it
you gonna put a dryer on it?
no.
Does your material in your sandblast cabinet not start to kind of clump up from the moisture? What are
There's
you
no-
using?
It's a consistent temperature in here 24/7.
Yeah, but your
And the
compressor
humidity
makes water.
Yeah, I
when you're
understand
running it that
Yeah,
hard.
and the humidity is maintained unless there's a massive flood. But regardless, there will be condensation just from the active compressing stuff.
No
But
shit. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'll just drain it some days.
Oh my god. See,
Right.
if
Like
you
I
can-
I don't want to because
Uh,
at the other workshop where we have the jacked air compressor with the commercial dryer that runs separately that it looks like an air conditioner. Like I already got the money spent on unnecessary, well, proper air compressor setup. I just don't give a shit in this case.
I have actually Chucky 2009 suggested years ago before he got kicked off of YouTube. Chucky suggested I use this air dryer, and it holds a big roll of paper that looks like a roll of toilet paper, but it's obviously not just toilet paper.
Right.
And you tighten it down, and this roll of toilet paper basically filters the air. And I open that up, and they're wet. And then I switch it for a dry one, and I let it
Yeah.
dry on the shelf, and then I switch
Right.
them back and forth, which is probably not what you're supposed to do. But
Uh,
it sits on the shelf for a month, and it dries completely out, and I swap them back and forth. But I also try and empty the compressor as often as possible, and that
Right.
is the compressor that I use for the plasma table.
Okay.
ah.
Look, can you
Yeah,
see
like
this accessory?
I could get an inline one. Yeah.
Yeah, $120, dude.
For the
Yeah.
air dryer.
No, this just automatically
Oh,
dumps
this is
the
the auto
condensation,
drain.
yeah, out of the bottom of the air compressor. The only
it's not a-
downside to this is it just dumps a pool of rust on the floor all the time.
That's fine. That's basically all I do all day.
And you guys want to know an interesting thing? My buddy JD out and shout out to JD Apexish on Instagram, Apex Welding. JD has on the wall of his shop a big zigzag of copper pipes. Have you guys ever seen that drying technique where you take
Yeah.
you put
That's
plumbing
on our
pipes?
workshop one. Yeah.
Yeah, you zigzag pipes on the wall like every four to, let's say, like 4 feet. So you have it goes just the zigzags up and down 4 feet.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of every one of those zags, you put a little drain tube. So the water will collect at the bottom of all those. So if you do a whole wall of that, which a lot of
Yeah.
guys do, it dries all the water out because the water just keeps falling. It condensates and falls to the bottom of each one of
Right.
the elbows. And it also creates a tremendous amount more storage space for your compressor system.
You know what?
Yeah,
I've
it's not a
always
bad idea at
really
all. It's a
liked
good tip.
that guy, JD. I've never
Oh.
met him in person, but I taught
Yeah.
myself how to weld. I didn't have an instructor or anything, and I've always improved on my welding techniques by watching his videos.
It's good, dude.
Really?
He's
Speaking
good
about
dude.
welders, I actually
Everyone,
also
bro.
I want a new welder because the flood kind of exploded it.
Welding tips and trips. What happened?
The welder was like one of the only things that was actually like right on the ground, so the flood kind of
Was it plugged in?
Oh,
no, it was not plugged in. It's just a little rusty and I hate it anyways. So
Yeah.
I want a multi-process welder with
ooh.
Yeah.
with AC TIG, and there are like only 3 that exist in the world. And
You need a Lincoln. You need a Lincoln MP210 or a.
no, Lincoln doesn't make
No.
it. They don't make one.
Why are
You
you
need a
being so
Skywave
difficult? Why do
200.
you want AC only?
AC TIG is for aluminum.
Aluminum.
Okay, but why do you want AC only? Why don't you get AC DC?
No, like it has to include AC TIG. So what I want is a MIG stick AC DC TIG,
You can get that.
and that does exist. But
Like
20,000. But Lincoln doesn't make one. They make it,
So
but there's
get
no
something
MIG.
besides Lincoln.
I know, but there's just I don't really know. Like the Miller one is $5,000 Canadian, and
Up
then
to the welding world, dude.
yeah, but then the ESAB is 4,000, and the Everlast
Crap.
is 3,000, and I
Crap.
really know absolutely nothing about.
I'll tell you one
the-
thing
the
I know about
difference is-
one thing about multi-process welding, and this is just from somebody that does a lot of all of them.
yeah,
It is the biggest pain in the dick to convert your machine from one thing to another. And then the next day you want to go do something else. And then the next day you want to go do something else.
Right.
It is much easier if you have 2 or 3 machines. I'll tell you that
yeah.
straight.
That's the other solution too. Is just get a TIG and then get a MIG, and I'm done basically, or a MIG and a stick. Although I'll probably never use stick other than hard facing anvils or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, Andrew loves that. Andrew loves that part. But I don't do a lot of the fabrication that you would do, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing repairs mostly, so
hmm
it's small, little. I don't need a lot of process. I don't need like a good duty cycle. I just need to turn it on, weld 2 pieces of aluminum that cracked, and be done.
The with the M multi-processing thing, not only do you have to switch everything over, you have to organize all your TIG stuff. You got to make sure
Yeah.
all your welding stuff is organized. Because when it comes to switching it, you're like, where did I leave that cable? Oh, I need. Well, my tip cup broke in the process of keeping it stored under the table.
Yeah,
That is the problem. That is the biggest problem.
that's true, and
Yeah.
I am
just
someone
buy
that would
multiple
probably
machines.
never switch it over. I need to just make a cart that's sensual, and that maybe it's cheaper to just get 2 separate machines anyways.
I think most places have multiple machines.
And the Lincoln one that is sensual, I know we can get that one.
I
and
talked to the Lincoln
discounted.
guy at WorkbenchCon. Is his name Scott?
Scott
Oh, no,
Lincoln, yeah.
No, Craig used to work for Lincoln. He no longer
Craig.
works.
Yeah, he now works for Makers Camp.
Yeah, well, that's his venture is Maker's Summer School. He's doing that in Cleveland.
Super nice guy.
Yep.
Super
And he
nice
worked
guy.
at Lincoln for 10 years. Now I think he works for Cat Diesel Power now, but the Maker Summer School is his personal venture that he's pushing. And we're all going to be there. Everybody, I mean, I don't know if you guys are going to be there. I know I'm going to be there. It's in June. So look up Maker's Summer School on Instagram.
Yeah, got a wedding. Can't go to that one either.
I got invited and I have not decided.
And you're fired. Yes, so I will source new welding stuff. I really do want the TIG situation for even just brazing. I'm sick of torch
Okay.
welding.
If you're going to do anything with aluminum, you need to be TIG welding it, okay? Because
That's what I'm
trying to
saying.
MIG weld aluminum is like,
No,
I would rather
that's
be
true.
injected with the flu virus. To be
Right,
honest.
and I've torch welded aluminum.
Well,
but
you know
it's just more of a pain in the ass.
I want to just clarify something, Andrew. A few minutes ago, you said JD and Jody are 2 different welders. I think you were confusing.
Jody, yes, is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and JD is his
Yeah.
partner in crime. They're good buddies, and they're always hanging out together. So they're both together a tremendous resource for the welding community. So you got Jody.
He was
welding tips and tricks.
Jody, that guy, dude, that guy is so smart.
He was at WorkbenchCon.
He came and he lived
That
nearby,
guy
so he came and hang out.
WorkbenchCon?
Yeah, I don't know where
Yeah.
you were.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He did. He wasn't there for the whole weekend. He came at the end of. He might have came at the end of the day when you left, so that's why you didn't meet him.
If I just saw him, I would have totally blown him.
Yeah, no, I think it was when you left.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was Lincoln, and many welding companies do, but I work for Lincoln, makes a handheld device which pushes aluminum wire, and that thing.
Like the spool gun?
A spool gun?
Yeah, it works great. JD,
Yeah.
when he was at my house, set up the one I have because I hadn't set it up yet. It was just sitting in the box. He goes, "Oh, give me that." And he showed me how to set it up, and we
Yeah.
tested it. It blows through aluminum.
I've got
Yes.
2 aluminum spool guns here, and they're the most ridiculously hard things to operate. They're Millers, though. I don't know if I have them set up wrong or what, but there's 2 feed rollers inside the spool gun, and you'll start welding, and all of a sudden the wire just starts doing flips and loop-de-loops and all kinds of
you
stuff
get a nest.
inside there.
You get
Oh,
nest. Yeah, birds nesting.
that
Yeah,
would not be
that's a potential problem. But he set up the one I got, and we have one of the MP140 set up with it, dedicated with the spool gun on it, and it works really well. We were all amazed. He did it once when the students were all here, and everybody was. And in fact, we welded up an aluminum base, and my giant 208 Reed Vise is sitting on top of it.
Oh, really? An aluminum base for that. Great.
Yeah.
Why don't you go kill yourself right now?
When the spring
I
comes, I'm
just
going to
literally,
tractor.
I literally want to add like just little drops of aluminum to areas that are worn out or something on an old whatever handle or something.
I see you melting
What?
a huge hole trying to add a little drop. It's always
Oh
like,
my
what?
god! I'll
What?
totally
Pain in
do
the
that.
dick.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Does that not make
You're just
sense?
gonna put drops of molten aluminum on things.
Well,
No, like things that I need to
build
restore.
it up.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I'm just going around dropping aluminum on stuff.
like rabbit pellets.
I did fix your wrench finally. I don't know if you saw that.
That's
I did see
actually
that.
your wrench now. And
Yes.
I appreciate you doing that, but you didn't show the process, as you would call it.
Yeah, I did. I even used
Oh,
your
you did?
stand. I even used your
Oh,
little
you did?
phone stand. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's gloriously stable.
Yeah, I get to give Eric a lot of crap because his videos are so shaky. That was the whole reason y'all got those things from me. And
Yeah. I
Eric,
used it.
I still think neither one. Open the package.
Can I know I have mine. It's in the shop. Me and Aaron both use it. Can I say something? Can we celebrate? Can we celebrate the fact that Eric got his Sally saw thanks to Rob of
Yes.
Rojas?
Yes. The power of the FItzall podcast. Okay.
Rob, may you be blessed bedside with 17 virgins tonight.
By the way,
I would also
by the
like
way,
to say.
Rob. By the way, Rob is sitting in my kitchen right now with Patrick.
Oh, really?
Rob, you are
Everybody was here.
one amazing individual.
Yeah. I'd also like to say thank you to everyone else who messaged me. There were like 50 people who were like, "Oh yeah, I'm like 10 minutes away. I'll go pick it up." So that's kind of cool. I like to have that, community support. That's awesome. But it is there. It is almost fully complete. The parts I'm missing don't really matter to me. I can make them
right now.
Yeah, I can make
I
them.
want to make a prediction. I got to make a prediction. This
Do
will
it.
be the very first YouTube video where you get injured.
I get injured. Thank you. I get injured
like a substantial injury. Like you're gonna cut your penis off.
Oh, well, that's fine. I don't need it anymore.
Oh yeah.
What's the point even? It's just a hassle. Yes, I actually just talked to Rob right before this. I want him to find what the serial number is on the saw.
And he shipped it, didn't he?
No, it's sitting in my shop on the floor. I've been so busy. I got a couple of gigs, and then I'm going away next week, so I just haven't had a chance.
Pee all over it before you send it to him. Just pee all over the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I did flip flop it around a little bit. I could not find the serial number, but I didn't do an extensive search.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
fine.
Up.
I would like to know.
Wait, didn't you
if it's early or late?
ask Jimmy to try to start it?
He did.
Yeah, I wanted to see if it would fight. Like if there's spark. Well, if there's spark, at least.
I hand turn the starter yoke, and it seems to turn fairly easily. It doesn't feel like it has compression.
No,
is
I
there
don't
spark
know.
plug in there?
There is.
Yeah. So I would like to see if there's spark, and then the compression I can fix.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy, do you have a rope you can spin around there and give it the old yanker-doodle?
I will.
If you really want, yeah.
I haven't been in my shop in the last 4 days, literally. Like, I had a video shoot at my shop a couple days ago on Thursday. Friday, I went to that college in New Jersey all day long. Yesterday, I've been in the barn all day putting the new header in. And today, I've been in the barn all day putting the new header in, trying to figure out why my internet doesn't work. And now here I am with you guys. So literally, since Wednesday night, I have not been in my shop.
Just
Jimmy,
crazy.
let's talk about the second floor of your shop. What are you going to put up there?
Still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
No. What?
How are you going to access to the second floor?
We have a set of stairs. There's going to be a set of stairs up in the front portion. So the first 20 feet when you walk into my barn is going to be air. It's going to go up. So the loft will start 20 feet back. The loft's going to be 12'6" above the concrete. And then there's going to be another 15 feet to the peak up in the second floor. At the knee wall is going to be about 5 feet, but a few feet away, you won't be banging your head. Everybody's worried about the lights. This is me and Jocko when he was hanging out. We came up with this voice. It's like, what are you gonna do with all the lights that you put up the ceiling? What about
They're for the second floor.
What about the fans? What are you gonna do with the fans?
Just drill holes in the floor for perforated floor.
It. I'm just gonna perforate the floor. No, I'm gonna raise one fan up about 3 feet. But what about the lights?
Everybody's so concerned about everything that's going on in our world and not anything about their own.
What about so many lights?
Okay, Jimmy, stop. I'm gonna slap you in the face.
No, Patrick's like, we'll take every other light and put it underneath the floor. And like Patrick, the way you and I are like, oh, we'll restore that. Oh, we'll fix that. We'll drill a hole in it. Patrick sees that and he goes, oh, I'll just take every other light out. I'll put it on the underfloor.
And like Patrick. Patrick's a cool dude, man.
I'll just call Southwire.
Great guy. Yeah,
Because
Patrick's
the
a
whole
great
reason
dude.
I brought that up is because I have another elevator, another antique elevator.
Don't talk about the elevator because Taylor wants an elevator in there.
Okay, well, I'm gonna.
What you don't?
I don't want to put an elevator in there. It's gonna take space.
I'm talking about some of the manual ones that you go like this.
Just get a dumb waiter the size of one human.
That's why I put the loft in the front so we can bring the tools up like with a Grail.
Okay.
They're never gonna buy one, so that'll be the loft that never gets used.
No. What I'm going to use the loft for is potentially my editing suite and some digital fabrication, like the laser's probably going to go up, the light stuff.
Oh,
And
Laser.
yeah,
Right there.
that stuff. And Taylor's Taylor's leather studio will probably move up there because right now she rents a leather studio and the landlord's kind of a little iffy. We think that her landlord like eventually wants to push her out and like use her building where her leather studio is. There's two tenants, the downstairs tenant and the upstairs tenant. She's the upstairs tenant. And so she's afraid, we're just preparing like in a year from now, her landlord's going to be like, get out. So if that second floor is there, she can move directly into there, set up. It'll be huge. It's going to be 40 feet by 50 feet floor space. So there's going to be plenty of room for us to both share that space for.
I got a
potential work.
question to ask you guys.
Right.
Have y'all ever used this product right here? This is Evapo-Rust Rust Blocker.
I have.
This is one of the
use it all the time.
greatest products of all time. It's
Is it?
aerosol, non-toxic, wonderful way to coat your metal items after they've come out of Evapo-Rust.
Spray it
1
in your
hour.
mouth.
The
Spray it
1
in
You
hour
your
can
mark.
get
mouth.
this today and today only by using the FItzall code on Amazon. Please type it in for your 25% discount. Thank you for shopping.
25. That's all.
Okay, I'm not a woodworker, but I will tell you this: at WorkbenchCon, I really looked over the SawStop product, and I was impressed.
Yes.
And I'm
20.
curious. Yesterday, I had an old guy in the Model T Club stop by to see me, and he was showing me a friend of his who had 2 days before lost his thumb, his index finger, his middle finger, and part of his ring finger because he tried to reach over the top of his table saw while it was spinning, and it sucked his hand down into it.
What
And
was he
so
reaching
after that,
for?
I didn't ask. He showed me the pictures. I nearly fainted. But that SawStop product is like, if you don't have a SawStop, then don't use a table saw. Okay?
Yes.
Stupid. Like, that is the
I've
coolest
always.
product and such a well-made machine.
It is
Yeah.
very nicely
Well,
done.
you guys know, I mean, everybody knows the history, but maybe you guys don't know. The SawStop was invented by a guy several years ago, probably 20 years ago, and he ran around to every SawStop company to try and license it, and nobody would be interested. Everyone's like, there's no need for this. There's no need for this. And so reluctantly, he started his own manufacturing company and raised money and started his own manufacturing. And they realized if they were going to enter a field that they've never been in, they have to be 5 times better than what's available. So
Yeah.
they bought every saw available, and they tried to make sure that they were above and beyond every saw that was available. And it is such a solid product. I have 2 of them, and
Yeah.
this is not sponsored by them, but I'm just telling you, some facts.
Isn't
Yes,
that cool?
I
Cece,
am.
When you see that video for the first time, is that not crazy? Oh. I love her.
Watching the
so
machine actually do its thing, like in slow motion.
Yeah.
And
So
Cece's
what
like,
happens
whatever.
is if you get your finger near that saw blade, it stops. See, that's a hot dog, and it just barely touched it, and so you can't cut anything off.
Yeah.
It
I've always
tilts
thought
in.
the ultimate promotion, and I wanted to do this on video. Maybe we'll do it one day. I want to teabag the blade when it's spinning.
We could do it with a pig or something.
No,
Like,
You guys know, Chris Zepp, he bought a 7 horsepower one at an auction, and he brought it home and he stuck his finger in the blade in a video to make sure it worked. And it set the brake off, and the video got demonetized and age graded, and they sent him a nasty letter. They're like, that's not cool. We don't want people to try and make sure it works. And
SawStop sent him a nasty letter?
I think they did. Yeah. I think he spoke.
And how did he respond to that? horseshit.
They were just like, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. They didn't like the idea that he's not a trained professional. It doesn't work for the company. And
Right.
just
What do you mean? How trained professional do you need to be to stick your freaking hand in a saw blade?
I don't
It's
know.
a very specific
If
profession.
anything, they should be glorifying the guy to have enough balls to do that, and the company's using a hot dog.
Because I still think like they, as you can see in the video, and just in general, everyone's moving very slowly. If you move that hot dog quickly, it's getting cut. It won't cut off.
It'll even nick.
But if you threw the hot dog at the blade, that hot dog is getting damaged
just a nick,
because
though.
it's just a nick, right? So I'm interested in. So the patent expires in 15 years, just not that long, and I'm
So
interested
you
to
gonna
see.
chicken hawk it? Are you gonna chicken
Well,
hawk it?
companies will take this in 5 seconds, but I wonder where else it could be applied because I don't really see. Like, can you use it on like a hand circular saw? Like,
Well,
it's impossible.
He said, well, by Smarter Every Day did a video on trying to do a break on his handheld circular saw. I'll be honest, I'm sure people get hurt with them all the time, but the kickback on a handheld circular saw, you just got to be out of the line of fire.
Yeah.
I don't, it's a stupid thing to say because you're also supposed to not stick your hand in the blade of any saw, and people get injured on them all the time.
Yeah.
What
But,
about a worm gear circular saw?
Smarter Every Day did a stopping action on a handheld one, and I spoke to the guys years ago at SawStop about like chop saws, which is very dangerous because chop saws will suck you in. He said the problem with a chop saw, if it's not bolted to the table, it flips completely over because
Yeah, the
you're
momentum
stopping
is what I was
momentum.
saying. That's the issue with smaller tools. So I'm not sure where they like you could do it on a bandsaw, I guess.
He said that they're working
Do
on
it on
bandsaws and chop saws. but-
Yeah. So it could be of interest in like 15 years when that does expire. Well, maybe 20 when they bring something to market.
I can't
I
believe
don't
Chris
know.
had enough balls to stick his finger in there. Like I would have to be high on heroin, drunk, like blitzed out of my mind
Look
to
up
have
his
enough
video.
balls
Let's
to
watch
do
it.
it.
It's
yeah.
make
Type-
something every day. Make something
Make-
every day. SawStop. It must be on a blog or a conversation somewhere.
Say
Make something every day.
Make something every day.
Well, I forget what the hell's the name of his shop. Make everything.
Oh, Chris,
Chris, I love you.
CC, it's
Make
actually
everything.
called Make Everything.
You're thinking
Well,
about
Every
Make
other one.
everything
smarter every day.
What
Combined
did I
with
s- makes
combined with
Make
make
something
everything. Make everything.
Poor Chris is just getting just blasted over here. Okay,
Yeah, there it is.
which is it called? That?
Make
if
everything.
it's Chris, if it's
Yeah,
if it's
type
Chris,
that one
yeah.
or that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 5 horsepower. Jimmy said 7.
Oh, I don't know.
Could
If
be
that's
a-
his,
Okay.
is it age restricted? Do you have to check in?
Is it
'Cause-
age restricted?
Obviously, they made him age restricted, but now the age restrictions on everything, so I don't know what the hell's going to. Oh my God, all these commercials. It's like 3 commercials in front of a video.
Skip.
God, Chris. Come on.
Is this the video?
I think so. I haven't seen it. When was it published? 3 years ago?
This is
Yeah,
Chris F.
That's him. Yeah, this must be it.
Yeah,
Just
see if
go
you
to
can find
like just
the
skip
way
to
he
the
blasted.
part where he teabags it.
Does it say
Showing him set
how
it up
many
at the moment.
How many views?
How many? 407,000.
Says
If
that
Chris
This
one.
is him setting it up.
If Chris turned into like a superhero, it would be Engine Lift Man because he uses that thing for everything.
That's what
I talked to him the other
is.
day about all that. It's just out of control. Oh, the whole maker community is out of control with your freaking engine lifts and shenanigans of how you move shit. It's ridiculous.
Well, like how else are you supposed to do it?
Like the right way. Oh, look, is he
That
about
might
to do it?
That
No?
might
No,
not be the
that's
one.
it. It's gone. Maybe it's gone forever. Anyways, you can look at it if you want, and not. But I would like to see that technology and more things. But
Well, why are you using a push stick with that thing? Like, who cares?
your
Well,
hand
'cause
is
you
supposed to.
You can
don't want-
still get a kickback.
Oh yeah, sign
Oh.
in to confirm your age.
Oh, that was right. Yeah. So I'll tell you
Yeah,
one thing
sign
funny
in
about
me.
SawStop. I did a thing on SawStop a couple of years ago, and I said Well, I did a voiced over version of the video, and I said, well, it was published that way. It wasn't just on Patreon. I said the only reason I'm doing this dangerous move is because I'm using a SawStop. And I had this conversation a few times on my other podcast, where because it's a SawStop with a safety net, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. Because if things do go sideways and my hand hits the blade, it's gonna shut down.
You're
And
almost
they
like
said-
slightly more reckless.
Yeah, and he wrote me a note. The guys over it, so he's like, dude, please don't promote using the saw dangerously simply because you think it has a safety net. He wasn't mad, but he's like, don't do that. It's not cool.
He's like, that's
It
exactly what
it
I'm here
is
for.
actually cool. It is actually cool because it's showing that it works, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion,
Well-
it's not that it's not cool. It's just like, come on, people. It's you know.
Yep. Oh, here's Chris. He's gonna shave
Boy,
his
you
beard
can
off.
see the look on his face, which is like, I can't believe I'm fixing to friggin' do this. I really can't believe it.
There it is. He's gonna be so excited
Like-
we're talking about. That was it. Like he puts his pinky in and he holds it with his other
Okay,
arm like it's gonna blow off.
Go back a little bit and then see if we
Yeah,
can
it's
get right.
very anticlimactic, honestly.
How many views?
terms-
How many views?
34,000. Turn the volume on.
That's it.
It wasn't his hand.
That was it. That's
his hand.
that wasn't his. What, he
One of
hired
those
a guy?
Shit hands that Jimmy has.
It was a cadaver's hand.
Yeah,
And you go, yeah, it was a cadaver.
yeah, that's how it works. Imagine one day it doesn't work though.
Hold on, we're getting some things popping up on the screen here.
Yeah, I saw
It
it.
was all for age
Dude.
restrictions.
I saw it.
Trying to switch accounts or something. Turn on sync because we have a FItzall YouTube thing now. That,
YouTube break now.
by the way, this is all going to be live on YouTube.
Eventually.
Oh, is it?
See,
that's-
Chris is showing. He has a little skin on his finger there. He got a little skin.
All right, go back.
Skin.
See the action.
Skin. He looks like a Muppet with that beard.
More back. More back.
More. Oh, spicy.
Oh,
That's
oh
it.
my God! I can't believe he did that, Chris. I have to call him in a little bit. Is there volume? Holy crap!
Yeah.
For those of you who
Oh,
can't
man.
see this, Chris Zepp literally
He
stuck.
touches the blade sideways. He kind of grabs it sideways. He swings his
Correct.
pinky into the cutting edge.
I wonder if he
Shit.
pissed himself when he did that.
He should have swung his nuts in sideways.
Or maybe that's his next video.
I'll do it.
That's great. That boy has some nerve, I tell you. I'm going to write him a letter of disgust myself. It's going to be different, though.
Do you see that spark happening inside the mechanism? It blows up.
Yes.
So it just catches the blade, essentially. And
And
he's
so
got a
he's
little,
just got he's got a little rub on his finger, but it didn't break the skin. He's not bleeding.
I mean, this is better than a video game. They should let kids play this all the time.
Well, play the SawStop.
Yeah, play the
70
SawStop.
$70 every time.
Yeah,
It's,
that's
uh,
the
this is like-
problem.
It's
So
not a
what?
problem because my pinky cost me 15 grand, and I was out of work for a
Yes.
while.
In America.
I can't believe that he
Yeah.
did that. I have a whole new respect for Chris. I already respected him. And I was actually really proud of a product that he made and brought to
Yeah.
WorkbenchCon.
Subscribers.
And,
Ready
and
to talk
he's,
about it.
yeah, and he's selling me that offset jaw Vice.
If he does, I will order you and him and all of your offspring. It'll be like you lived in North Korea, where your third generation kids have to go and work at the work camp because you screwed up.
He just wants to trade it for a wrench.
Jimmy, you laugh about it, and that'll be it for you and your property. I'll burn it down like Smiley.
Yeah. He's
I
trading
touched
it
that.
for a wrench.
I touched that offset vice, by the way. I did touch it.
Yeah.
By the way, so
I saw it.
they're giving me some crap right now because Chris has a Vice that I need for my collection. When I say I need, it is because I legitimately need it. Okay,
To survive.
that's how I think about it. And he's not letting me buy it. He's not letting me trade for it. He's holding it over my head, and all I want to do is waterboard him.
It is a vice which I don't think anybody even mentioned what brand it is. I don't remember. I don't think Chris knows. If you were to just if you grab the jaws, let's say we were in like the fifth dimension, and you grab the jaws of like a 4-inch Wilton, and you literally laterally pulled them sideways about 5 inches and let it go, and it stayed like rubber. That's what this vice looks like. Strangest thing I've ever seen. So if you held
like
the pipe
the anvil
in the
is where the
jaws,
jaws. Yeah.
if you held the pipe in it like straight up and down, it would go past the edge of the bench and touch the floor.
Keep talking about it. Just keep going. Rub it in my face, the whole bit. I mean, I know all of these things already myself.
Do you know what type of vise it is? And who made it and all that?
The Robot Man just said, do you know the brand of the vise?
I do not know the brand of the vise, no.
Ooh, it's a mystery vise.
It is a very old vise, and I myself not going to talk anymore about it until it's in my hands.
You're having like a mental breakdown.
Chris should be tracking it down to me at this point.
Well, wait,
Okay,
we're at one.
I want to talk about WorkbenchCon a little bit more, okay? Because the two of you punks. All right, we stayed in this hotel that was like 100 stories, okay? Okay, 50, maybe 50 floors, and the whole entire atrium is exposed.
It was like 14 floors.
175 floors.
Yeah.
It's like a skyscraper on the inside. Yes. And literally the whole courtyard, the whole interior of the hotel.
Wide open.
You just open your door to your room and take 4 feet. You could jump off and literally do a wingsuit to the ground. No, you a wingsuit. Like you could, it was that far down. You could parachute down.
Base jumping. Yeah.
And you two ass monkeys, mainly you, Eric, thought it would be funny
to pretend to climb over
the railing and pretend to climb over.
Oh my God.
Air surf down to your dirt nap. And it nearly gave me a panic attack. And I just hated you at that moment. I literally wanted to punch you in the face.
It's on my Instagram stories if anybody wants to watch it.
I made it a mental breakdown.
Yeah. So then when we got in the elevator and you were doing the whole moose knuckle thing, I had to grab your dick.
Yes.
That would be a good time to mention our sponsors.
Thank you for destroying myself.
You had a little bit of a water dog. I was curious what that was all about.
It's just the way she goes. It's just how elevators.
Yeah, you were worked up from the excitement of jumping off the side of the building to your dog.
I was turned on by my own impending death.
Wait, Jimmy, do you not know what a water dog is? Is that not a thing?
I think I can deduce what it meant.
I can deduce.
Yeah, deduce. Yeah. Cece's got a picture of this hotel pulled up. Literally, you can look. There's 190 floors.
Yeah. At the first WorkbenchCon.
That's where we were. Then. That's where we were. It looks like it's 12 floors.
Yeah, that's it.
It's still scary as hell. We were on the 8th and 9th floor, and literally, it was a long way down.
Imagine one of your children joked like that. Would you just shut down and leave? You'd have to start a whole new life.
Well, yeah. Dude, this is in the news. The grandfather held his granddaughter over the railing of a cruise ship that I'm sure is even bigger than that, and the baby fell out of his arms and died.
Oh, I did see that. Yes,
that's current events. That's not old news. That's new. The guy just was convicted of like manslaughter or something.
Being an idiot.
Oh, then they're trying to sue the cruise line for like having an unsafe boat. Like, come on, dude, you just hold.
Like your boat's too large. Babies that fall off the edge die. Like what is the case there exactly?
Yeah, but if you're the grandfather and you did that to your grandkid, you just kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, before we do Hot on the Horizon, I would like to discuss lasers.
I'll just be quiet.
Okay. Yeah.
Jocko gets, by the way.
Oh, he lasered. What is it?
It's a level. It's a little.
He lasered the level.
Yep,
nice.
With my name on it.
Nice. So he has a fiber laser.
He does. The one he bought from China when he was there. He had it sent back.
Son of a bit. I've been looking at specifically fiber lasers because CO2 lasers don't really do much to metal or any steel. To remake antique brass machine tags. The fiber laser is literally the way to go. The cheapest you can probably get one is maybe $3,000 to $5,000 for a fiber laser. It's tough. Like the ones that Cece's pulling up are all CO2 and they're garbage. Get out of my face. Anyways, they will etch, like deep etch metal, so you can get that original brass tag look as long as you have the proper artwork, and it would come out very consistently without using acid and toner and a bunch of other things to get to where you need to go.
This
that.
week you've been experimenting with just a regular laser, etching away the resist.
Yes. I'll show on Instagram, but it's pretty
really?
good.
That looks
Did
good.
you lasered that whole thing there?
Yes, so you can do it with a CO2 laser, a normal laser, where you would paint a piece of brass completely and then laser away the paint layer and then expose that brass or steel or aluminum, well, not aluminum, to some acid and then fill in the acid area. It's very simple.
So, like, how
the
big of a
issue-
laser? How
Well,
what
okay. So
capabilities
the
of
issue is that the acid etching doesn't work for aluminum, really. Which I don't encounter that often, but I do encounter those during restorations. The brass tags were initially, and I found that document,
right?
they were initially completely acid etched. And those specific printing presses that were made just for brass tag acid purposes are completely lost to time, and I cannot find even one photo of one online.
Do you think it could have been just a regular printing press? It's just the process of
I don't know. It seems like that obviously could be done. Like you could use that for that purpose, but in that book it mentions specifically a printing press designed solely for brass tags. And what essentially they would do is take a thin sheet of brass, printing press some ink onto it in the pattern that they want.
That would be the resist.
And then, but not just the ink. They would then pour some sort of, this is all they mention, is some sort of acid resisting powder that would stick to the ink and would be enough to resist the acid. So it wasn't the ink itself for some reason.
Oh, okay. The ink was basically like the binder, and then the powder was the resist.
The glue for the powder. And then they would dunk it in nitric acid, because it's 1925, and pull it out and neutralize the acid. And then with a rubber printing press stamp, they would then paint one or two or three or however many colors. They'd stamp each and every sheet with different colors, and that's how the process was done. And it blows my mind, because even when you look at old machine tags, like they look like they've been stamped out, but the back is completely flat. And I can't believe that they actually acid etched like millions of these.
Yeah,
that was just
and
the
they
process
all look the
back
same.
then.
And they all look amazing, and the painting is amazing. And I don't even understand, because this is like the depth. I'm holding a brass tag right now. The depth is like, it's like 5,000th of etching. It's like nothing.
And it makes a beautiful impression.
And then they never actually sand it. They never sand the top of it to expose the letters. It just never gets painted.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question from a laser rookie standpoint.
Yes.
Is there a difference between an etching laser and a laser that will cut metal?
Yes, any laser could do both of those things depending on
just how you decide to set it up.
Yeah, okay. and the power, right? To cut through like a millimeter of steel or something, you probably need, I don't know, 500-watt laser, whereas like just to etch deeply into stuff, you only need like a 20 to 50-watt fiber laser. Like you don't need to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that this laser method, is literally the best possible replacement for that old antique method of acid etching in any material now, not just brass, but we can do aluminum. We can do.
Then I would suggest you do it, and it gets this nice sharp looking edge, which maybe does not look as period as it would have acid etched. Get it and just hit it with a burnished wheel. Just like quickly run it on like a Scotch press.
Hey guys, hit it with a burnish wheel, would you? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
is that my New York accent?
Yeah.
No, the burnish wheel noise, man.
Yeah. So it's a tempting product, but for $5,000, It's a lot of money just to remake
Eric.
brass tags, but it's fun,
Eric,
and I think it's
You're at the stage of your life where everything starts out at $5,000. So just deal with it, dude. Everything.
I
Everything
understand. It's just a matter of could I use that 5,000 somewhere more appropriate? Is
when
kind
you were
of the
dating.
decision.
When you were dating, everything was like $100. You got married, everything was $1,000. You had kids, everything's $5,000. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's
so true.
what it is. That's what it is now.
It's just the way it goes.
Well, because
Let me ask you
you
this.
just
Can you etch
play with
color
bigger
into
and
something?
bigger toys. Pardon?
You can etch color into something, or is it always one
No.
color?
No, you're just
Yeah, but that-
literally burning. You're like burning away with the laser the material.
Okay.
You could cut also, like I could use it to cut gaskets and carburetor diaphragms and other kind of custom stuff if I had to. But it's more just to redo plaques like that would be a lot of fun, especially since I get messages, honestly, like once a week at least. Hey, how do you remake these? How do you do this? Do you know where I can get them made? And it'd be nice if I could just be like, oh yeah, I could do that for you.
That's a
Yeah.
lot better message than I get every week, almost every day, which is, what's the value of this product? What's the value of my anvil? What's the value of my vise? How much would you pay for this?
You could charge for that if you really wanted to.
No, I'm happy to delete those messages. I mean, answer them.
Yes, of course. People just want to know.
I had a big conversation with several people at WorkbenchCon about that. Like, what messages you take time to answer and what messages you don't. Because in my opinion,
You answer
it's rude.
everything.
I think it's rude for you to ignore. Like if somebody's taken time out of their life to ask you something and you don't respond, it's not very nice.
Right.
But
Well,
I've just gotten to the point now where there's no chance I can answer them all. So I just delete them. I
Yeah,
just
it
can't
is.
take.
Just delete them. Screw.
Yeah.
It becomes a volume versus time really thing.
I just can't do it. It's like, I'm not trying to be rude. I want to be nice to everybody, but I just can't do it, dude. I get like 100+ messages a day on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's
Yep.
a lot of messages.
Oh, by the way,
you have Instagram.
you have Instagram. What are you talking about? By
Do
the
you
way,
guys-
just
And messages on YouTube? Do people write messages on YouTube also?
Like comment?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
like,
tell them all to fuck off or what?
I don't use the community tab as much as I should on YouTube. That's where you would go back and forth with people. People like if I ignore them on YouTube, they then eventually get my email, and that's when they're like, "I've tried you on YouTube. I've tried you on Facebook. Now I found this," and they'll ask you some desperate question, which I'm always happy to answer. It's just if I start digging into YouTube, it'll never end. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you'd have to answer questions all day.
yeah.
So what were you going to say, Jimmy?
Oh, I was gonna say, by the way, shout out to Tom Utley, King Tutley on
Yes.
Instagram. Tom's done a tremendous amount of
master.
work in the field of replicating these plates. We've talked about him before, so it's in the context of Eric's conversation about replicating
Yes.
plates.
Yes. And
So-
even though he uses the same old process, just steps it up with like a bubbler and the proper acid solution, constant agitation. It's just, he does a good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's figured
Yeah.
out how to replicate lots and lots of classic.
I just
football
don't get
plates.
how, and we were talking back and forth, and he doesn't know either, how they mask, if they even did, how they mask off the areas so the different colors in one entire machine tag don't flow into each other or overlap or go beyond where they're supposed to go. I don't know. He doesn't
Crazy.
know either. I don't know how they masked it off. If they even did. Maybe it is just the printing press and that's it. I don't know.
We gotta find an old timer that used to do that. If anybody's great grandfather is still alive that worked at Walker Turner or worked at Miller Falls, any of these places.
It's just nuts. It's really nice with the laser to get like that deep, super deep etch on like a thick plate brass tag, because those are the
Okay.
sexiest ones.
So let's break that down from my perspective, okay? Because I'm a vintage machinery nutball, okay?
I heard about that.
The tags that get replicated
Yes.
that are thin and are just kind of like, flimsy or whatever.
Yeah.
are shit. They're junk. Okay.
Like this, yeah, but
They
they're
make
original.
the machine automatically cheap. The brass tags that are thick, like you're saying, and have like some depth to them and awesomeness.
Yes.
Those are the ones we want, right?
Yeah,
And
where
that's
they
what y'all
almost
make,
look
right?
like the ones that were probably originally actually cast instead of etched. Yeah, those are the sexiest ones. And only the really nice older machines have it. I think Jimmy's Bandsaw has the thick ones.
Yeah, and the
mine
the Edison Dynamo had a really beautiful one.
Yeah,
The one we replaced.
it's like what
Yeah, I
separates
think that one
the
was, like,
you know, if
golden.
you're spending money to cast them, that's what they probably did before they did the acid etching. You know,
Yeah.
it's very essential. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that it is so you can do it at home yourself with essentially an inkjet printer and some ferric chloride acid.
Well, I did it. We talked about electrolysis. The way you could do that by just putting that's like PCB board etching. You could laser away what you don't want, leave the resist on there, put it in
exactly
PCB board, that's ferric acid, or you can do the electrolysis version. You know, the acid etch, the electric acid etch, which is super simple. Just Google it, you'll find out how to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're at 1:37, and I just wanted to bring up, which I thought would be a good topic, and maybe it's too late for this one. And I'm curious if Andrew even wants to mention it. We talked about the holy grail of Vises. Do we want to mention the holy grail of Vises here, or do we want to keep that when our documentary's done?
What do you mean the holy grail?
The holy grail. I think Eric wasn't at the table that day, was he?
Don't even.
He was sleeping.
Don't.
I was trying to enjoy my life.
I don't know how to respond to this right now. The thing is, let's just leave it alone because my wife's shaking her head at me like, don't talk about it. Like, just leave it alone. Okay, the holy grail of Vises has been located. One of them has been located.
Where?
I'm not
No,
Jimmy.
He's never telling you that.
Serious?
Yes, I remember this conversation now. Okay.
And I'm trying to buy it, but it's in a big company, and they don't care whether they keep it or they don't care to sell it. They have no desire. If they don't use it, it's in a back room. They would have to go through all these channels to be able to sell it anyways.
So you got to steal it.
And so I'm not trying to steal it, but I'm trying to come up with a way to get it. So the very last thing I need is a bunch of shoemakers out there trying to get in my way of an already kind of difficult task.
So let me ask you guys this question.
Let's not even tell what it is.
You can't even.
No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. I don't want to blow your deal. But what is the holy grail of, say, for instance, the anvils? What is the one anvil that nobody knows where it is, that everybody wants? Is there one that you could suggest?
I think in the anvil world, that's not necessarily the case. Like, there's not that one, right?
Right.
That no one's found.
Right.
In anvil world, it's more like that's been found, and how much money would it take to buy it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's an 803-pound hay button anvil that's been sold. It was Green and Mingle had it. They sold it to a collector, or they sold it to Steve Perlowitz, and Steve Perlowitz sold it to a collector, and it probably brought $75,000. It's the largest hay button known. Okay. So there's those anvils are out there.
Yeah.
Everybody's identified, all the major anvil manufacturers, and they've identified within that, the subcategory of the little ones, the big ones, the this, the that, the rare ones, for the most part. I'm sure there's stuff out there that people haven't found yet. But
what is the holy grail of, say, a blacksmith hammer, for instance? Is there one? Is there one hammer that anybody would want?
A power?
Or would it be really for? No, not necessarily a power hammer. I meant to say like a little handheld hammer with a wooden stick on it. Is that really more like who actually used it? It doesn't matter what it is, but it's a matter of who actually held it.
No, look, Yuri Hoffy made really good hammers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get one, they're really awesome. You can get ones that are made his design, but I don't even know if he's alive anymore. But Yuri Hoffy, Hoffy hammers. You can still buy the hammer, but it's not made by him.
Right. Is he the guy that trained Jesse James?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I think he may still be alive. I'm not sure. But yeah, so handheld hammers, I mean, dude, we could go off on a whole tangent about that. So
Mhm.
I recently ordered 10 different hammers from different guys that are on Instagram and stuff making hammers these days.
Oh, that's
Right.
cool.
For the
Stuff like-
sole purpose of I'm going to exercise each one of them and I'm going to critique them and I'm going to make my critique public.
Oh, that's great.
So,
That'd be
Yeah, but-
interesting.
like a guy that makes hammers that's real popular, I had a conversation with him 2 days ago. I said I wanted a 4-pound rounding hammer, and his response back to me was, "Why would you want a 4-pound rounding hammer?" And I instantly knew that we had a problem. He's like, "I make 2.5-pound hammers." Well, I swing a 4-pound hammer.
Right on.
Because I have 800-pound anvils.
No, most people swing, bigger hammers. Anyways, so there's a lot of handheld hammer makers out there these days, and I'm
What is
interested to see
what
who's
is the
making
holy
ones.
grail? What is the holy grail of bandsaws? I know for me, it's a big 36-inch with S-spoked wheels, which I've only seen in an antique shop, and they're not selling it because they hang fur coats on it. They won't sell
Oh,
it.
okay. Nice.
It's in a vintage shop in Hudson, and they will not sell it.
Well,
But
those
it's the only one
exist.
I've
Those
ever
are,
seen.
yeah, those should be a little bit more common than.
Well, that's
like-
my own personal holy grail. Like if I saw
Right.
one of those, I would have to figure out how to get it. And now next
Right.
week I'm going to get 10 of them on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, yeah,
Marketplace.
yeah. They'll start popping up out of nowhere.
Like last week, your personal holy grail was the Sally saw, and we solved that problem. But is there
Yes,
one? Is
that was
there a
last week's.
bandsaw? Is there a bandsaw that collectors must have?
Well, if collectors are okay, I would say that like most collectors at this point are just like hobby guys.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if you mean the true
Yeah, I mean,
collectors
I'm
that have like 450 bandsaws.
I'm getting that.
Then I have no idea. Like personally, the most interesting ones are the ones that the entire saw tilts, the shipbuilding bandsaws.
Yes.
Those are
yes.
amazing. But in terms of what is probably the most sought after one is the Delta one with the cast base.
The one that I'm getting.
The one that you're getting is probably like within
The gear driven.
everyone's obtainability and still reasonably priced, but everyone wants it.
Yep.
And those
Which,
are
by
going
the
up
way,
in price.
Andrew gifted me one. Andrew basically gave that to me. So Andrew, I'm going to publicly thank you and give you a hug and say thank you, my brother.
Yeah, like those will forever go up
You're
in
welcome.
price because everyone can fit that bandsaw. It's a reasonable size bandsaw. So there's
And now
almost
I will have
a
I will
weird
have
thing.
2 of those. One is
Yeah.
in the possession of my brother, who will never in a million years pack it and ship it to me. I have to go and get it myself. And the other one is coming to me next week while I'm in Kansas. So we got to figure that whole thing out.
Where in Kansas are you going?
I'm going to Kansas City next week to work on the Make 48. Did you meet Tom, the guy from New Zealand at WorkbenchCon? The guy at the end when we stood up and talked. You might have been gone by then. We're doing a thing called Make 48, where I'm going to be the host of a PBS TV show, where people have 48 hours to make an invention, and then at the end it gets judged, and the person who wins, I think, gets $10,000 to help develop their invention.
Oh,
And
wow.
anyway, myself and one other person, Zyla, is going to be. Zyla was at Make WorkbenchCon. Me and Zyla are going to be.
This is the saw he's getting right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I kind of zoned in and out there, boys.
Anyway, so I'm going to
Yeah.
Kansas for a couple days while the shipping comes. So it'll sit on my dock. That looks like the one. That is.
It'll sit on my dock. Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah,
do
so
your
that base,
impression
that
of me, would you?
bandsaw cast base is very nice.
No, listen to this, guys. Listen to this. Jimmy, do your impression of me. Go ahead.
There
Go
you-
ahead.
There your impression of Mike. Is that you going to send that to me? Is that you going to send me one of them mouse pics? That's it. I'm leaving. That's it. I'm
It's-
going. All right, let's go,
Thank
boys.
you.
That's like almost, I don't even know.
I'm
It's
I'm
like-
leaving, motherfucker.
Let's
Yeah.
go, boys. Let's get the hell out of here. That's it.
It's
Boss
like
I really
is
sound like that.
Alabama. It's like Alabama-ish.
The funniest thing about every
Oh.
Thank God Andrew rented a truck, by the way, in Atlanta, and every time we had to go somewhere, Andrew's like, "Fuck it, I'm driving. I'll be in the truck," and he just starts walking out there. and like the tail of people following has to decide where it ends. Like if 6 people, like the 7th person has to be like, "I guess I'll take an Uber."
No, dude, we stuffed so many people in that truck. It was ridiculous. It was like 8
had-
people everywhere we went.
8 people, yeah. Look, there's another holy grail that CC just pulled up. It is
What, the
the
jointer?
joiner with that same base on it. I've never
Yes.
seen one in person.
Oh, dude, I throw those away every day. Those are really
God.
long.
Throw
Save
them
one
away.
for me.
Yeah, he
that
throws
rock
them
dart
away.
pays shit, rock dart.
That
Oh,
was in
okay.
like 1939, 1940. Delta made that base for every tool they made. There's a sander with that base on it. There's the
Yes.
joiner. There's the
Wait a minute.
bandsaw. Only
Don't
ever seen the
this
bandsaw.
picture. What
You
is
want
this
this-
right here?
That's
Look
the
What
motor
you
hole.
said. Yeah, it's the motor hole. Looks like a dick coming out of there.
That's
Well,
the
that
other
is
shaft.
the motor. That's the
That's
shaft
where you put
coming out of
the
the
extra. That's where you put the drill chuck.
What
the
a
buffer.
what a phallic design of that thing.
That's who designed it, Dr. Phallic himself.
So you need one of those, a 6-inch Delta Rockwell joiner with enclosed something. I'll get you one of those.
Base. Closed base.
Yeah, just
If I
fine.
could have the collection of those tools, that would be nice.
You know what I thought about was cool about WorkbenchCon is that people were like, "So what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I pretty much provide tools for all y'all to do your stuff."
Yeah,
That's nice.
you
You know.
enable their addictions.
Yeah.
You're a drug
So
dealer,
it's like
basically.
everybody's out working on their stuff, on building things, and I'm out working, finding the tools for them to build with.
And
There you go.
by the way, I'm gonna jump in and do my hot on the horizon. Andrew is sending me that double D disc sander that I'm getting.
Yeah, buddy.
The double D.
He zip tied a pair of roller skates to it and said it's getting picked up this afternoon. So
Yeah, after that
hopefully
photo.
it's like it's
Okay, I
ready
have
to
to tell
go.
you, I really appreciate that you sent that because I was going to send it the way that. So I received it on the exact same pallet. I never took it off the pallet, right? And it came from Pennsylvania like that. And I was like, well, it didn't get damaged, so it should be fine. And then when you were like, is it too late for wood bumpers? I was like, what are you talking about? What's a wood bumper? And you're like, put a wood bumper on there so that the table doesn't get messed up. And I was like, actually, it's a fantastic idea.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
The dogs are murdering an intruder. But yeah, no, I was a little nervous because you had the tables down at an angle, and that angle it gets bumped by a forklift, and that angle already is like halfway to busting the trunnions off. And I figured I'd get the table.
Yeah.
The thing. Remember what happened the last time you sent me something? It came in the cage. Literally it was upside down.
If anything like that happens to this, I'll have a freaking heart attack, dude. This is not a machine that they can
literally upside down. Like if you take a 19 or an 1890s printing press and carefully pack it, it leaves Texas and comes to New York completely upside down in the bin that it left Texas in. That's what happened.
That was nauseating. By the way, when you get the bandsaw, you're going to be out of town when the bandsaw arrives. Is that what you told me?
I might. I mean, I'm going to be in Kansas from Wednesday to Sunday.
There are a plethora of extras in that crate.
Ooh, like a
Yeah.
gun rack.
Partially packed by my 2 boys, 4 and 7 years old.
Ooh.
They went shopping
Handy?
around the shop and picked out things for you.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the other things I picked out for you,
Chocolate?
which are nothing edible, unless you're like Steel Jaw McGillicuddy.
Yeah, it's just vials of coronavirus.
Iron Balls
Yeah.
McGinty.
It's used
Oh,
face
God.
masks.
Hey, did you guys know we have a sponsor for this podcast?
We do?
You're kidding me. Tell me about that.
Tell me about that.
Using the code on Amazon, get a 25% off on 1 gallon of Evapo-Rust.
That's 25 FITZALL.
Oh, the other thing too is go follow Evapo-Rust on Instagram to see all the plethora of different types of things that rust will get removed from.
Actually, in March, they're running the March. They do like March Madness, but Evapo-Rust style. like before and after. So you could enter that and win like a insane amount of Evapo-Rust.
Yeah, before and after contest. And then don't they have, where's their giant dunk tank that you can like go there and dunk a giant object?
Arkansas.
Yes, so I will be showing that off soon. It's in Arkansas.
Are you
They have
gonna
a
get in
tank.
it like with the scuba tank on?
No, so we have to. So the week before we do the Good of the Land Fest, I want to go down to the Evapo-Rust factory in Arkansas, and that is where the giant dunk tank is. And I need to dunk an entire Camelback drill press at once, not even taking it apart, all at once in the tank.
Are you gonna take one from here over there, or you want me to
Yes.
send one down there?
Yes, I will need to buy one from you probably
just give
because
you-
that's
I'll give you one.
no, how dare you? And we'll dunk it because it can fit. It can easily fit a large car in that tank. So
That's unbelievable.
it's going to be incredibly interesting. I want one that's like
Oh
just
my
the
God! Wait a
worst-
minute. Look, is that
the
David
worst
right there?
condition.
That's
That
the
is
owner
David.
of Evapo-Rust.
Well, they can't see unless this is on YouTube.
What in the hell is that pitch? I need to talk to him. He's got a V-neck. He's got a turtleneck shirt on with a V-neck vest and a
I think it
sporty.
was Halloween. Was that Halloween? When was that posted?
No, that's their
That's-
spotlight thing.
Oh, never mind. I'm gonna edit that out.
He's
Hey,
doing
hey.
it as maximum class, though. Look at that.
This is Magnum.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to do that. I want to see if just dunking an entire thing and not even taking it apart could save me so much more time.
Yeah.
Hot on the horizon for me, boys. I've got a couple machines I'll be going after this week. One of them is a Cincinnati Bickford gear-driven drill press.
Ooh.
Another one is a Peerless Power Hacksaw. I may have mentioned that. I was supposed
Very
to get it
nice
last week,
also.
but I missed. It'll cut 16 by 16 inches.
Mhm.
The largest one.
Massive.
Are there larger
So
ones?
large- I think there are larger ones, maybe, but not that I've seen.
I've never seen. Yeah, larger than 16.
And then I've got a South Bend heavy lathe that I'm picking up.
Ooh.
Mm.
And so
Our viewers would be very interested in that. Or
I
I guess
would
our
like to
listeners.
thank everybody that buys things from me because that's more fun.
Well, of course.
And that's all I have.
That is a very nice lathe. Damn it. Damn you.
Yes, it is.
You know,
Yeah,
I did you guys see me hanging out with the community students the other day? Community college students. We put threads on the bottom of a microphone stand that were broken in the music department, so they brought it into the machining department when I happened to be there. And
Oh,
I put a 27, I think it was 20, it's a 26 pitch on the end of a music stand with those students, and we had a great time, me and a couple of the students particularly. And I ran it on a Logan lathe, and because we threaded a hollow tube that was like 5/8 thick or maybe 7/8 thick,
right.
with no gutter, so you couldn't run the threads into a gutter and then
Yeah.
back it out and start again. I literally, with this Logan lathe, which is probably made in the 70s, this really nice lathe, run it and literally hit the brake and stop it dead, and then back it out, hit it in reverse and back it out, dial in, do that. And that's how we did it with no gutter. And that makes me want one of those lathes now. And I was talking to the guy, and he goes, we're going to be moving this whole department to a new building. And in the process, we're going to be culling some of the lathes. So I might get one of those from those guys. So
So if anybody out there has one of those lathes and want to give it to Jimmy for free.
What do you mean by one of those lathes? Like one that just goes in reverse?
Yeah, like none of my South Bends will do that. I mean, it'll go in reverse, but I can't stop it dead. It doesn't have a brake. Like if I'm running it in back and then I hit the brake, there's like a big lever brake on this Logan. It's like I said, it's a modern machine. Literally, if you could just hit that, it'll shut it off and break it exactly where you want, and then go in reverse and come out of those threads. So you don't need a gutter.
Right. I get you. Totally. I have a
That's
Logan.
how that big Mazak is that I have.
Yeah, also. My Logan lathe does not do that.
Yeah, I'll send you guys. We'll do an Instagram picture.
Because yours is a desktop like pencil lathe.
Yes, it's a pencil lathe. It's hand crank. Actually, I have the pedal lathe still. I still don't know what to do with that. I'll figure that out.
Dude, give it
guys,
to me.
I have to cut
Hey,
this
you
short.
want
There's a
it?
couple. I still have a bunch of people in the house. They're waiting for me to get off the podcast.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
So all the
love
people that are
everybody.
waiting there, we thank them so much
Yes.
for allowing us to share part of your time today,
No,
and
They're
they can all
fired.
kiss my ass.
no, it was quite a wonderful afternoon, Sunday afternoon with you guys. I love and miss you both.
Fired up, boys. Actually, we do have fun together. I have fun with you guys,
Thank
and
you.
if we lived closer together, we would be the 3 most unproductive individuals you would ever meet.
Yes.
But in a very productive format.
Possibly.
Honestly,
Debatable.
if we lived near each other, we would have a giant warehouse full of shit that was sitting in Evapo-Rust tanks.
We would enable each other, and it would probably end horribly.
Like, dude, you just picture this. Like, just got back from picking and your truck is full, and you're like, hey, dude, would you run with me down to this place?
By the way, I meant to mention it earlier. Right after this podcast, if I have some time, I'm going to go to the flea market in East Durham, and I'm going to get a quote on that 67 GTO rust bucket that I showed the other day on Instagram. Did you see that 67 GTO?
Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna get a quote. I think she thinks she's sitting on gold, but she's sitting on a rusty pile of shit. But
Yeah.
if I can get it from her and do a like Found on the Road Dead, or do what do they call that? What is that show by on Roadkill? You know that Roadkill, that YouTube show? Is
yeah.
a great show.
Yeah.
By some magazine. Anyway, if we could do a Roadkill with it, me and my buddy Mike. Mike is like, do not pay. He goes, if you pay $1 over 500 for that, I'm gonna kill you. But if I can get it for $1,000, that is my limit. So
Yeah.
I'll let you know what happens with that.
Yes, you do need more things to do, Jimmy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that would be fun because you've been actually talking about doing a rat rod for a couple years.
Yeah,
now.
and I mean, what would be cool than a rat rod? Then something that should be a glorious $100,000 restoration that is like running and at least
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That car would be worth $75,000 if it was in perfect shape.
Right.
Would it really? That's that's a sought after car.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even know. Everyone keeps telling me it might be a Le Mans or a Tempest, and it's not a real GTO with different badges. If it's a real GTO convertible, it might be worth a lot of money, but not in the state it's in.
Jimmy, you get you that car and you put your rifle holster in there. You push your 22 carbine lever action 22 in there, take her down the auction, see what kind of money y'all bring on a double.
Well, she said to me, this is why I was talking
Exactly
about
what I was thinking.
She said, it's to me. Now it's to me. If I don't want it, it's going to go to an auction with a reserve. So it's already telling me she wants more than I'm willing to pay for it. So I'm going to go find out right now.
You get down there and double click the mouse, Jimmy, and see what you come home with.
Oh God. Oh God.
1,000 is my bottom line.
I know exactly what he's talking about. Oh God. We gotta end this.
Mouse, boys. Double click that mouse.
Oh God.
All right, boys.
Jesus
See you later.
Christ. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna
See
try.
you
I'm gonna
guys
try and
later.
get this up tonight if we don't have that same problem we had last week. So
All righty.
all right,
Enjoy your life. Nice seeing you guys as always. Don't die.
This is the weirdest exit, Eric, ever, by the way. This is
Yeah.
not NPR, okay?
And good night.
Bye bye. We like you. Goodbye. Sex.
God. Later.
Bye.